Hey, what's up guys? Dude Longcouch here. Welcome to a PlayStation Plus one-shot. Today we're going to look at Limbo, which is free for the month of August for PlayStation Plus subscribers. Guys, this is actually one of my all-time favorite games. It originally came out in, I believe, 2010 on the Xbox Live Arcade, and it did have a period of exclusivity on that platform, but since then it's come out for pretty much everything under the sun. It's out for PlayStation 3, Microsoft Windows, OS X, Linux, SteamOS, Xbox One, PlayStation Vita, iOS, Android, OnLive, and the Wii U. And of course it's out for PlayStation 4, because that's the console that I'm doing this video on. So you can see right off the bat here, you get an achievement for just going left and picking up the wrong way trophy. There's a lot of stuff like that hidden around this game. Most of it isn't that easy to find. That's just a nice little treat for people who like to explore. But anyway, right off the bat, you guys can see that this game is a 2D side-scrolling game. And more specifically, it's actually a puzzle platformer, which I personally feel is a criminally underrated genre and a criminally underrepresented genre these days in gaming. You know, the Xbox Live Arcade, one of the things that it did great was giving a platform for these more indie-like titles, these kind of more quote-unquote simplistic titles that were kind of beautiful in their simple design. And that's exactly what this game is to me. It's the first game from the Danish developer called Playdead, and actually, to date, it's the only game they've come out with. They have another game coming out this year called Inside, that they say is going to be kind of like a spiritual successor to this game. I have no idea how true that's going to be, what it's going to play like. All I can tell you is that I love this game. Pretty much the only context you have here is that you play as this boy who wakes up, you don't have a name, or really any kind of story. You can see I just died from jumping in the water there. The only thing you know is that you're looking for your sister. You're in this weird kind of, it almost seems like a parallel dimension kind of thing. This game is called Limbo for a good reason. You got the dark color palette. You pretty much only have black, white, and then shades of gray in between. So you almost feel like you're not even really in the real world. You're kind of in this in-between lands. And you're trying to find your sister. You have no idea where she is. But you just feel really lonely and creeped out the whole time you're playing this game. There's not very much in the way of story or any kind of like meaningful character interaction or anything like that. You will meet other people while you're playing this game, but pretty much the only thing they ever do is run away from you or try to kill you, or they're already dead. And that's another thing about this game, is there's actually a lot of messed up stuff in this game. There's a lot of really macabre puzzles to solve involving corpses, dead bodies, dead kids, body parts, parts of animals, and just generally really messed up stuff that I am actually really fond of. I don't know what that says about me. I might be a psychopath. You guys might be too if you like this game. Who knows? No judgment here, because I think this game's great. But you can see here, it starts out with just a lot of really simple puzzles like this. Pulling the boat up so you can reach this ledge to jump onto. It's the very beginning of the game. I didn't want to show you guys later stuff because I didn't want to spoil those gameplay elements. But obviously the game is going to get a lot more complicated as you go along. It's not super long. It's about 4 to 5 hours max, if you know, and that's if you are like an average gamer. It might go a little quicker or a little more slowly for you, depending on your skill level, because some of these puzzles do get insanely hard later on. You know, you start out in the forest, and without spoiling too much, the setting does kind of evolve at some point. You start getting into like more of like an industrial setting with like gravity effects and shit like that. But it never really loses that whole creepy, macabre feel, so don't worry too much about that. That's the whole point of this game. You can see I just jumped over those bear traps right there. That's because I played this game before, so I knew what to expect there. If you didn't know what to expect there, you probably would have walked right on top of them and you would have died. And that's actually an intentional thing by, you know, Playdead's design philosophy. They called this game a trial and death game. Not trial and error, trial and death. They wanted you to try stuff and then actually die from it, and then you respawn right away. This game is really good with respawn points and not making you redo crap you already did. But the whole thing is designed so that you're actually just getting killed left and right, and you have to learn from that and adjust your playstyle accordingly. You know, the game does a great job of teaching you mechanics by making you die in really horrible ways, and that's actually one of the things that you can turn off in the game settings, if you don't want to see some of the more terrible death animations that they inflict upon this child, you can actually turn that off because they know a lot of it's messed up and it wouldn't sit well with a lot of people. Again, I think it's awesome. It's probably because I'm a psychopath. Whatever, it is what it is. So you can see I just barely dodged that boulder there. That's another part where most people probably would have died, but I had the advantage of already playing this game before, and it had been a little while, but I was all too happy to jump back into it because, again, I love this game. Some of these PS Plus one-shots are going to be games that I have never played before. This is not that type of game right here. I just want everybody to know that this game exists. I don't want to show you too much because I don't want to spoil all this stuff. But here's a good example. You come up on something like a box like this and you try and push it out into the water so you can maybe ride it across. It doesn't really work all that great. So you try and you try again, then you just jump in the water and die. And that's a learning experience. You know that you can't swim, you know that you can't push that box out. You're kind of missing something, you got to figure something else out. Trial and death. That's what this game is. As I said before, there's not a whole lot of focus on the story in this game. There is a story in the background, but it's very light, very sparse. You know, not a whole lot going on in the details department. It's all about the atmosphere and the gameplay and the way that those things kind of come together to make you feel like you're really alone. You really are in limbo. There's a little bit of exploration, as you can see here. You know, you've got some platforming elements, you've got places to explore, and you can find trophies and, you know, hidden things to get trophies. I'm referring, of course, to the actual PlayStation Network trophies, not trophies in-game. Sorry, I should have been more clear on that. You can see, I kind of noticed at this part that there was something up top there. So if you look closely, there's a rope that you can jump onto and climb up. And that's a pretty good example of the way a lot of the things in this game are hidden. So if you're kind of a OCD collection horror, this is also a good game for you. I got the Altitude is Attitude trophy, and just for a second here, I just wanted to pull that up and look at what that trophy is. Exploration off the ground. Wrong way, that's not right, is the first one I got. And there's a decent number of those to find. They're pretty much all based on exploration and just finding things that other people aren't going to find. There's also a trophy for getting through the game, for dying, I believe there's one for not dying at all, and then there's one for dying less than 5 times. Which might sound easy, but it's really, really not. Throughout the course of this game, most people are going to die upwards of like 50, 60 times, if not more. So getting that down below 5 can be extremely tricky. But anyway, so now we've solved this puzzle. We can push this whole tree trunk out into the water and get ourselves across. And at this stage of the game, it's still super early, but you can see already the kind of things we've had to solve and the number of times we've died. There would be a lot more of that coming up if I were to show everything, but I don't want to show a whole lot about this game, so I'm going to wrap this video up right here. I want to show you one more thing here, right at this spot. Holy God, look at that, guys. A giant spider. And even in the way that they show these big, gruesome enemies, it's always kind of subdued. You can't see the whole thing. All you see is his legs sticking out. So even though you're already terrified by the giant legs, you know that there's even more that they're not showing you. Just kind of creeping behind the scenes. And it all plays into the whole atmosphere of this game that I love so much. So guys, I don't want to show you the solution to this. I just want everybody to experience it for themselves. I love this game. It's $10. It's free this month if you get it now. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm Dude Longcouch, and I hope to see you in the next video. Later.